Imagine this. A man sits alone in a coffee shop. Everyone around him frantically scrolls through phones, desperately chasing validation from internet strangers. Couples snap selfies, groups gossip. Lone wolves swipe through dating apps like their existence depend on it. But this man, earbuds in, he's immersed in a philosophy audiobook. While others numb their minds with TikTok, he's different, not lonely, not desperate, not seeking anything from anyone. And that, my friend, makes him the most dangerous person in that room. But why? Why does a man content in his own skin, who doesn't crave constant external validation, who can sit with his thoughts without fleeing them, why does he terrify society? Hold that thought. We're diving deep into something that will forever change how you view solitude. The lie society feeds you about being alone. Here's the brutal truth no one admits. Our entire social system thrives on your neediness. Think about it. Every ad, every social media platform, every dating app, every self-help guru, they all bank on one assumption. You're incomplete without others. Find your soulmate, connect with friends, build your network. You need community to be happy. But what if that's a lie? What if the man, perfectly content alone, represents something so threatening to the social order that we've labeled him lonely, antisocial, or weird? Here's what I've learned. Society doesn't fear the man who can't be alone. It fears the man who doesn't need to be with anyone. When philosophy becomes your shield. Let me share the wisdom of two men who grasped this dangerous truth, centuries apart. Friedrich Nietzsche and Marcus Aurelius. Marcus, the most powerful man in the ancient world, wrote in his private journal, "All cruelty stems from weakness." A man who could command legions, yet spent evenings alone, writing to himself, questioning everything. Nietzsche, the philosopher whose ideas outlived empires, proclaimed, "The individual always struggles to avoid being swallowed by the tribe." Both uncovered a truth society hides. The person who can be alone with their thoughts is the one who can think for themselves. And thinking for yourself? That's dangerous as hell. The psychology of the dangerous loner. Let's get real about what's happening in the mind of someone who chooses solitude over social validation. First, they've escaped the addiction to approval, while others post, like, comment, chasing dopamine hits from social media. This person has found something stronger, self-respect that doesn't rely on external metrics. Second, they've mastered sitting with discomfort. Most people can't spend 5 minutes alone with their thoughts without grabbing their phone. Why? Silence reveals who we truly are, and most don't like what they see. But the dangerous loner? They befriended their demons, faced their fears, insecurities, failures, and emerged stronger. Third, they're immune to manipulation. This is huge. When you don't need others' validation, you can't be controlled by rejection's threat. You can't be bought with popularity. You can't be silenced by social pressure. The Marcus Aurelius method. Strength through solitude. Marcus Aurelius practiced something most would find odd today. Every evening, he reflected on his day, writing down thoughts in what he called the discipline of desire. He'd ask, what did I crave today that I didn't need? What did I fear that was beyond my control? What did I do for approval that betrayed my values? This wasn't mere journaling, it was training. He built psychological muscle. Marcus knew the person who knows themselves deeply can't be fooled by others' shallow games. When you spend time alone with your thoughts, examine your motives, face your shadow. Others' opinions lose their hold over you. Their attempts to become transparent. Their social games grow dull. You become dangerous because you become free. The Nietzsche problem, crafting your own values. Nietzsche pushed this further. He said, the truly dangerous person creates their own values instead of inheriting society's. Most people carry moral codes they never chose. They believe what they believe because their parents did, their friends do, their culture does. They're living someone else's life. But the person who spends time alone, they ask uncomfortable questions. Why do I believe this? Who profits from my belief? What would I believe if I started from scratch? This is where it gets dangerous. Once you think for yourself, you stop being predictable. You stop being controllable. You stop being a compliant consumer who buys, votes, and lives as they're told. The modern epidemic. Loneliness versus solitude. Let's be brutally honest about the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a void, a feeling that something's missing, that you're incomplete, that others must fill the emptiness inside you. Solitude is wholeness. It's being complete by yourself. Enjoy your own company, finding peace in silence. Society conflates these because it profits from the confusion. A lonely person is a consumer. They buy products to feel better, seek validation through purchases, stay distracted and compliant. But someone who embraces solitude, they're not buying. They're not seeking validation. They're not distracted. They're thinking. And thinking people are dangerous to systems built on mindless compliance. The 4 pillars of dangerous solitude. Drawing from Marcus Aurelius and Nietzsche, I distill 4 principles that make solitude dangerous. Radical self-honesty. The dangerous loner is brutally honest with themselves about their motives, fears, and desires. They don't lie to feel better. They confront reality head-on. This makes them dangerous because they spot lies in others, see through manipulation, and can't be fooled by pretty words or social performances. Value independence. They forge their own moral code, grounded in reason and experience, not social pressure or tradition. This doesn't mean they're immoral. Often, they're more moral than most, but their morality comes from within, not external authority. This makes them dangerous because shame or guilt can't control them. They act on what they believe is right, heedless of others' opinions. Emotional self-sufficiency. They don't rely on others for emotional well-being. They've learned to regulate their emotions, to find peace within, to be their own source of strength. This makes them dangerous because emotional manipulation doesn't work on them. They don't need your approval, your love, or your acceptance to feel good about themselves. Intellectual courage. They dare to think thoughts others avoid, to challenge beliefs others accept blindly, to follow evidence even when it's uncomfortable. This makes them dangerous because social pressure can't silence them. They'll speak hard truths, even at a social cost. The price of being dangerous. Let's not sugarcoat it. This path isn't easy. There's a cost to this kind of independence. People will misjudge you, label you antisocial, arrogant, or weird. They'll try to pity your preference for solitude. You'll feel isolated at times, not lonely, but isolated. There's a distinction. You'll see most people operate on a different level of consciousness, and that can feel lonely sometimes. Relationships will shift. Those invested in your neediness will feel threatened by your independence. Some friends will drift away. Some family will feel uneasy about your growth. You'll face pressure to conform, subtle and overt nudges to be more social, more normal, more like the herd. But here's the truth. Conformity's price is steeper. Conformity costs you your soul. Why society fears the self-sufficient? Why does this scare people so much? Let's break it down. Economic reasons. Our economy thrives on people buying things they don't need to impress people they don't like. A self-content person buys little. They're not ideal consumers. Social reasons. Social hierarchies rely on people craving status. If you don't care about status, you're uncontrollable, unpredictable. Political reasons. Democratic systems lean on people swayed by popular opinion. If you think for yourself, you're harder to manipulate politically. Psychological reasons. Your independence exposes others' dependence. Your contentment reveals their discontent. Your freedom makes their cage glaringly visible. The modern Stoic, applying ancient wisdom. So, how do you become dangerous in the best way? How do you cultivate solitude that frees you, not isolates you? Start small, spend time alone, distraction-free. No phone, no music, no podcasts. Just you and your thoughts. Begin with 10 minutes and build up. Practice the evening review like Marcus Aurelius. Reflect each evening on your day. What did you do well? What could be better? What did you learn about yourself? Question your beliefs like Nietzsche. Regularly scrutinize what you believe and why. Don't accept ideas just because they're popular or traditional. Think for yourself. Develop your own moral code. Decide who you want to be based on reason and experience, not social pressure or tradition. Enjoy your own company. Find activities you love doing alone. Reading, walking, thinking, creating. Build a rich inner life. Stop seeking validation. This is the toughest. Stop chasing others' approval. Stop caring about likes, comments, or social status. Find your worth within. The paradox of dangerous solitude. Here's the beautiful irony. The person who doesn't need others becomes the most magnetic to them. When you're complete by yourself, not needy or desperate, when you have your own strength and peace, that's captivating. People are drawn to that energy. But here's the key. You're not doing it to attract others. You're doing it because it's the right way to live. Attraction is a byproduct, not the goal. Relationships improve when you don't need someone but choose to be with them. The relationship grows healthier. Friendships deepen when friendships are optional, based on genuine enjoyment, not loneliness. They become more authentic. Work becomes fulfilling when you're not desperate for approval from bosses or colleagues. You can focus on doing good work for its own sake. Life gains meaning when you stop chasing external validation. You can focus on what truly matters to you. The call to dangerous living. Here's my challenge. Become dangerous, not in a way that harms others, but in being impossible to control. Dangerous in thinking for yourself, in being complete by yourself, in having your own values, your own moral code, your own strength. The world needs more people who can't be bought, can't be manipulated, can't be silenced. The world needs more people comfortable in their own skin, who don't crave constant validation, who can sit with their thoughts without fleeing. The world needs more dangerous people. If this hit you as hard as it hit me when I first grasped it, do me a favor. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. You know who they are. Let the algorithm know this kind of content matters. Drop a comment. Tell me one belief you've carried that you didn't choose for yourself. What's one area where you've sought validation instead of building self-respect? And remember, in a world desperate to fit in, the most radical act is learning to stand alone. Stay dangerous, my friends.